All right, so let's keep going. So as notice, we've been doing all our work inside of this one file, and usually we don't want to just have everything here. Instead, we want to break up our large application into smaller modules, reusable components. So here we're going to create a couple of directories and create some files following some naming conventions, so that we can have a predictable structure to our project. So one of the things that we're going to create is that everything that handles incoming requests or responses that interacts with the HTTP world, right? That's basically web services, right? That's what we call services on the Java world. Similar thing here. We're going to create here a directory called services. Services. We're going to put anything that has to interact with HTTP. All right? So for instance, let's create a service here that handles users, right? That allows us to list, or students. So let's create a student service. So student. The naming convention will be that the first will be the feature, right? Or what is it that we're building? So we're building things about students. Also now it's a canonical name of what the role of this particular file is. It's a service. It's a service that it's executing on the server, meaning it's providing data, right? It's exposing some data model to some client. If this were on the client side, it might have been called student.service.client, right? So, but this is on the server, so JS. So here we want to do things such as what we've been doing here so far. Using the app post, app get, right? App post to create students, app get to retrieve all the students, and things like that, right? But notice that all these have been created in terms of this app. Right? Somehow here I need app. Right? So somehow I need to pass it so that you can have it here as well. So let's see how we could do that. So one of the things that we need to do is be able to somehow do what we do here. See this require? Somehow I need to be able to load this service from here and then pass it my app along. Right? So to do that, we're going to be using what's called a module export. So this is Node.js's support for modular programming, right? Being able to create self-contained modules, right? That can encapsulate their own local namespace, right? And they don't litter the entire JavaScript namespace everywhere else. So here we're going to declare a function that's going to take one argument, and it's going to be implemented as follows. Okay? So in here, for instance, I like to be able to do things such as I want to be able to create a student, right? That takes argument as a student, perhaps. Something like that. Right? Maybe I have a list of students for now. So this will be let students be some array of students. So this is first name, so maybe a username, Alice, maybe an ID, and username Ada, ID. Okay, and I like to be able to create a student maybe, and do things such as students dot push this brand new student. Okay, and maybe I like to be able to find all the students. So I find all students, and this might be a function that takes no arguments and just returns students. Maybe find by ID. Everything would be here, right? And invoked by HTTP requests that come through here, right? So things such as app.get, right? A URL that would retrieve all the students. What would that look like, right? If this is REST, the API will the URL might look something like this: /API/student, right? According to REST, this would mean I want all the students, okay? And this would be mapped to find all students. Okay. If I want to create a new student, it would be something like app.post, right? API student, and then create student. But this would receive is really what? Not really student. It would receive what? It would receive something like request response, right? And the student instance, presumably, it's inside where? In the body, right? So it would be request.body. Presumably, the student would be in there, right? Okay, and then what we'd like to be able to do, this would create these posts and these gets. Why is this? Doesn't like this. Maybe it doesn't know that I'm passing app here. Anyway, so this is the beginnings of a web service. Yeah, the beginning of a web service. From server, we need to load that, right, and pass it this app. So let's do that. We're going to get a hold of the student service. Student service. We're going to require. Now here, my service is mine. We just created it. It's not in Node modules, right? It's mine. I created it. So I'm not going to use the naming convention that's here. I'm going to have to use another naming convention. I'm going to have to tell it exactly where to find the file. Where is the file that I want to require? I'm going to start at the local directory. I'm going to go down to my services directory, and I'm going to take this student services. There it is. See that? Right? The .js at the end is implied. I don't have to provide it. Okay? It's understood that it's a JavaScript file. I could leave it in or not. It's optional. So now I have student service. But student service, according to this, is a function. It's a function. It's expecting an argument. Right? So this over here is a function, which I can call it. And I can pass it app as an argument. Right? And internally, it will use it to register a get and a post. All right? All right, so let's try it out. Let's run this again. Let's see if this works. So this would be, what is it? API student. Oops. No. What, yes, API student. Let me see, what did we miss here? Oh, okay, yeah, so we forgot this, right? So this is actually participating in a client server. So this is request response. This would be response.json.students. There we go. Restart. There it is, right? It came back. There it is, our two students. Everybody okay? Everybody good? All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back right after this.